Okay, you guys, I just had the coolest experience with my son. Okay, so what I want to share is possibly for those of you out there that either you have children that's on the spectrum, okay, or they may not be children no more, but they're technically children because on some level you still have to oversee their well-being, right? They can't altogether do it alone. So there's a level of you needing to tend to them, and they definitely can't take care of their own spiritual or energetic stuff, right? And they're sensitive, right? As an empath, I understand sensitivity, but they are empaths also, but they're even more so, they're wired differently. So they're even more sensitive to the subtle energies of environments and others, good and bad alike, okay? So it's not just the negative, they're just sensitive. That's why they can get very excited, right? So it's not just the negative, but you can definitely see the detrimental effect when it's a negative or toxic environment or surroundings, right? And then if you, like for an example, as the caretaker, you're under attack, right? Okay, because essentially it's you most of the time. They come for them because of their purity or their innocence to siphon, okay? But the attacks, right, it's you. And so then you have to deal with all that. But anyway, needless to say, this is what I want to say. A few years back, I became certified in 2 different forms of Reiki. But what happens is, and I was just speaking with someone a few weeks ago about, and I was glad to finally hear somebody say it, because I'm like, am I the only one who know this or noticed that? So the thing about that is, if you've been put in compromising space, right? Let's say your safety and your security is at risk or some kind of trauma, you still have that tapped in energy or that whatever that was for you. But sometimes there's a clog because you are needing to survive and you're trying to immediately deal with that. So you have to first get yourself tended to. This is why it serves to be able to do it on yourself. But not only that, when you're utterly out of whack because of stuff, finding somebody or something online that could help get you, in part, they can't do it all together, but to help get some of that gunk, right? And keep some of that gunk off of you so that you can realign with what's already yours, okay? What's there. And so what I've discovered here, I've been doing a lot of work on myself, needless to say. I ain't gonna lie, a lot of it. And it's helping. Now, the person that I was speaking to, a few weeks ago, right, they noticed that they were able to tell the difference between some things there. And I tried something tonight. Normally, because see, I'm high octane, I'm very intense. The Reiki that typically comes through when I am channeling, when I've ever done those things, is kind of it's potent. It's some potent shit. But it's supposed to be, because usually it's dealing with people who you can't get through, right? They're not as open or receptive. So it can be too much. Sometimes the channeling or the energy can seem too intense and overpowering. And so you have to critique it accordingly, right? And so I'm sharing this to say that when you're dealing with neurodivergent or sensitives, first and foremost, their comfortability is primary. So instead of me trying to make my son, do the things that we're told to do, how we're told you need to do this, you need to sit down, you need to lay, like we get very fanatical. What's important with neurodivergence or folks like my son is allow them, because see, they need to feel comfortable. So allow them to get into some kind of a comfortable position where they have their earphones or whatever it is, that they don't need to interact with you, because that may be too much. So I did something totally different, because I've done sessions on my son different ways. I've done it in a form of a distance because he won't let me do it. And then in some cases, I've done it because he wasn't feeling well and he wanted me to help him, right? And so, but tonight I try just to pay attention to the subtle movements of energy and the environment and his energy. And then I tried a very gentle approach. So I was kind of like, I asked him, I said, oh, blah, blah, blah. And you can do this and that, very different than what I would normally do. And he was like, his whole face was different. He was like, oh, okay. And so like, I was like, okay, cool, I'm around with this. I was like, okay, sure. So I called in my guides, my higher self and his team. And I was like, I did all of my, bringing in the reiki and choker and I did that, but I did it very quiet. And I got everything that I needed. So I got the energetic spray, I got my tuning fork, and certain crystals that I put as he was sitting in the chair, I put under his chair with intentions. There were certain ones, and I designed it a certain way. And he had on his big time earphones, like the cups that cup your whole ears. So he put on his Bluetooth earphone, and I played certain music. I think I was playing this because it's like on a timer. And so every 2 minutes, that's when you know it's like, okay, shift to another area, right? So I did that, but I did it in a unique way to fit him, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm still not touching him because technically Reiki, you can touch. You can definitely touch, but technically it's hovering over the body, over the auric field, right? So I then evoked, as I brought in my guides, but I made sure I had a grounding cord established for myself. Of course, I set some intentions between he and I because I'm not trying to transfer. I'm basically just channeling the energy, making sure I'm conduit in accordance with his higher self and his own needs, right? But that we would be buffered so that I'm not taking on his stuff or he's not taking on my stuff, yada, 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 right? I did that. Boom. And then I set my intentions for the session, which for him, it was more to do with comfort, calming, soothing, but clearing anything that he is absorbing from environment, being a sensitive, from environment, from people, places, as well as those who are into the toxic shit. Okay, now then after that, I asked and I evoked violet fire. If you're not familiar with that, I invite y'all to look into it. But I did this because I wanted the fire, I wanted it to be around us. Could you picture like a circle, like this translucent violet flamey energy? I wanted it to surround us. So I evoked it and I envisioned it as I'm in a session. I started off with, I was on bended knee, I'm on one knee, kneeling down. That's kind of one of the positions of Shekmet, but I didn't get into that, okay? And so I saw the flames. I was like, cool. Now with the flames, he don't know this. I'm still very calm. I'm moving kind of very gently. But as the flames, and as I move through his body, the flames were serving for me to move. So everything I was targeting and feeling through the sensations in his fields, then it was moving. I wanted to push it to the flame or direct it into those flames, right? That's how I initially started, okay? And he was just still like, this is what I was like taking note of. I'm like, he's oddly quiet, okay? Not for him. I'm like, he's oddly quiet. He's oddly still. And so I kept doing that. I was like, okay, boom. And went through. Then I was bringing in light. At some point, I used one hand held up from source so I can get energy in my left hand. My right hand, then I started navigating to push it through, sensing the energy coming from top to hand through me, my cord, right? Then I had my right hand, and then I was bringing it in, right? And I kept going around his body as I was guided. And at the very end, well, before the end, I went up and down his spinal cord, right? I kept focusing on his spinal cord and his head, the skull, right? After, at the very end, then I envisioned like this cotton candy. it was like insulation, like this translucent cotton candy, like it was infused with pinky, light pink and light green, with like a little silvery effect or something. So I envisioned like his whole body was encapsulated or infused with it. So like you know how insulation and all of the curves of his body. And I was asking for that so that he can feel secure in his own force field, his energy field, not so exposed, so that he can feel comfort. The pinky greenie is like love, compassion, kindness at the end. And as I brought in and was asking, his team to bring in some loving thoughts, because, these attacks, they're on them too. But not only that, the environments. So calling in his team, calling in all those energies, and I also actually erased some stuff, but that's another day. To transmute and bypass some trauma stuff to get it to come to clear out. But at the very end of all of that, after I, buffered and sealed in, and added the insulation, then I got my tuning fork. I waved it all around through his auric field and up and down his spine. And around his head, up and down his spine, around and around his head. And then I soothe the edges after that. And I did this all quietly. I'm just explaining it to y'all, but I wasn't saying anything. I was just being guided with my hands. I did a little bit of fluffing, soothing. And then I put some reiki symbols as well as runes. Like I pushed it into his field. And then I also put some numerical codes, okay, for what I needed it for him specifically. So I put it up and down his back, right? Pushed it in. Boom. Okay. This whole session, he never said a word. This is not like him. So this is what I'm taking note of. I'm trying to watch him to see what's happening. And I was like, okay, that's really odd for my son. But I went with it, and then I ended it. And, I think I had sprayed him with the spray first to like loosen up, my energetic spray to loosen it up. I started with that, by the way. Okay. But then I ended it, and then I went to the front of him because he was sitting in the chair. So I kind of slowly walked towards him in the front. I was like, okay. I said, I'm all done. I was like, so are you okay? How do you feel? Because see, one thing about my son, I'm going to tell you right now, he don't mind because he's, those neurodivergent types, like they're honest, but their honesty is not meant to hurt, right? Unlike toxic people that's trying to, do a dig at you. They're not trying to throw a dig. They're just going to tell you, okay, like, and he's good. I'll just say he's known for that, okay? And he'll say something. If it ain't working, he will tell me in a minute, oh, Mom, that's not working. I don't want to, And I'll be like, wait, Darrell, it's not working. You need to stop. So he will say stuff, right? So whatever they say in these situations, you kind of got to go with it, okay? Because they're going to say, oh, nothing happened, or it did happen, right? So I said, are you okay? He said, yeah. I said, oh, okay. I said, so do you feel better? I said, did the session, did it help you? Do you feel better? And of course, he's the riddler. He's into this whole making everybody guess, okay? So it's like, oh God. He was like, guess. And I was like, okay. So I just went with it. I said, no, you don't feel better. I said, you don't feel any change. It's nothing. He said, no, try again. I said, you feel worse? He said, no, try again. I said, okay. Oh, so you feel good. You feel good. You feel a little better. No, try again. Okay. I said, wow, okay. I said, so, I said, so you feel great? He said, close. But guess again. I said, okay. I said, well, you feel very great? He's like, yes, you guessed it. I said, oh, really? He said, yes. I said, so it works? He's like, yes. And I was like, oh, okay. And like his whole little, because before I did that, his energy was one thing. And I'm looking at him like, okay. And I said, okay, well, good. I said, well, I am so happy. I said, I guess I learned how to do it more gently for you. And he was like, oh yeah. He said, yeah, you worked it. You did it very well. And I said, okay. And then I just left. Like, I left him alone. I said, okay. And left his room. And now and he was smiling. He still have his earphones. And then he got up off the chair and laid on his bed. And what did he do? Put his one leg up or something and was looking at something on his phone. So now he was like laying down and relaxing. I said all that to say, it's a reason. All that to say is sometimes it's, and I know this is a lot because we go through a lot, you know, and I know, okay, I know what we deal with. So you're just like, ugh, you know, so you should be like, ugh. Intense. I'm definitely an intense person. Okay. The approach, it was possibly more potent and powerful. Okay, for him, because again, he's already super sensitive. Okay, so he don't need all that, because for some of us, it's got a fucking Tonkatron. You got to blow through the shit. Shit, you know what I'm saying? You need a fucking chainsaw. You know what I'm saying? He's already receptive and open. It's not a matter of that, you know. So it's the gentle, and that may be the ticket. Instead of the fighty, you know, because shit, where I've been lately, it's like shit. And that has its place, no doubt. But sometimes it's if what's been missing. And the reality is what's been needed. Okay, this has been traumatic. And when people have gone through that, the last thing they need is something overly masculine. Okay, overly masculine, overly rigid and forceful, because there's already this, you know, rawness to the nervous system, right? So, and that's what's going to create the reason why I feel like this is important, because guess what? That's what's going to help foster, like the Reiki is still running, and it's going to foster, you see what I'm saying, more healing for him. You know what I'm saying? An environment within himself and him feeling comfortable, that's going to help, right? I was asking for a refortification. His force field, his energy fields needs extra. Okay, just by nature of the environment and by his nature of being extra hypersensitive to energy. Okay, not to mention all of the nefarious, baneful things that have been being done to him. Okay. Now here's another thing. So this is what I've observed, right? Now guess what? Even for us. Now let's tie this back in. I know we get into this energy where, you know, you're just tired, right? You're tired of, you know, if you're anything like me, and I don't hold this back, because when I'm on here, especially with readings, I'll be on one and y'all be hearing me go to the left, okay? And I'll be like, I'm tired, right? Y'all be like, tell the fuck, and, you know, we be like, shit, this scallywags. Y'all get it, and you be like, shit, right? Energetically, right? But that, and it has a place, because there's a time that we need to exert that so that we can set the record straight with sorry energies and shit. So they can understand this ain't this. I look like a fucking fairy, motherfucker. But let me tell you something. This butterfly chasing, tree hugging motherfucker can make you say, if she needs to. Okay? However, we can't be all that all the time. When it comes to us, like, and what we need, what's been missing in our lives, collective, guess what? Kindness, gentleness, compassion, right? Softness, because of all this judgy. We've dealt with all of this, toxic femininity, toxic masculinity, all of this abrasive, you know, presumptuous, narrow-minded, egotistical, anti-consciousness energies, right? And so, being in survival mode, it's hyperactive. And even as it pertains to our healing, we just be so wanting this to be over, and so wanting to have all of this nasty shit. We get into this super like shit, shit, nothing, going at it spiritually. But we need some soothing. And some of us, especially, we didn't have no proper divine femininity. Some of our, feminine representatives, you know what I'm saying, were one of two things. They were either dead, mute, unable, unnatural, meaning they didn't have the natural warmth that a feminine or a mother figure should have for you. So they were either non-existent, cold, and surface, or they were downright abusive and authoritarian and tyrant-like. So we didn't get this proper soothing and compassion and nurture and all of that. So when we're doing our own healing sessions, sometimes they may serve just to even take that approach with you. If you're a Reiki master or some kind of a healing, whatever it is, okay, approach, holistic approach, and it's like, okay, sometime coming out of the war zone, because we have to navigate both worlds, but coming out of the war zone enough to, and I know it's like when you're fighting so that you can heal, I get that. But sometimes all of that is to stop you from healing anyway, just to get you fighting. You see what I'm saying? So we have to figure out which one is it at any given time. Is this just a distraction to keep me paying attention to their sorry ass, or to keep me, irritated or focused on the nasty energies in which I feel? Is it a distraction so that I'm not reallocating my own time and mind and energy to the gentleness and the softness and the compassion on myself that I could be doing instead of doing instead of worrying about, you know what I'm saying? I get it though, because I'm like, I'm the first one to say it, because I'm like, yeah, because shit. You start getting used to the fight, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who I'm finna fight today? You almost wake up ready for it. It's like, who ass I got? What do I have to do today? What kind of whoop ass energy shit do I need to send today? Because who come over here fucking with me? Huh? So you almost wake up. But it's at some point, it's a little bit of a distraction. So I am swallowing my own words. And I go there when I have to, but it's very quick, and I call in reinforcement now so that it has a deeper level of potency, so that I don't have to exude so much. You see that? So it's like boom, and then let it ride, huh? Let it ride. And then I can reallocate to the more divine feminine, because see, this is me bouncing between divine masculine and feminine, because that's my role right now. Okay? So, boom, do that. And then, okay, now with the softness, right? The more gentleness with our kids and then with ourselves, because that's where the negligence has been. We've had plenty of people in our lives. We've had that. People coming in for sex, people coming in for attention, people coming in, out of boredom. We've had plenty of that, okay? We've had plenty of people feeling like it was their God-given birth job to be our personal critiquer. We have had We have had plenty of people wanting to put their hands on us, for lack of better words, whether that's spiritually, energetically, literally, wanting to air quote so-called fix us, but at the same time wanting to air quote use us for, you know what I'm saying, what they can see that they can get out of it. What we haven't had plenty of is divine femininity and divine masculinity. Divine masculinity is kind. They're caring, strong leaders, but they're kind and they're considerate and they're integral and they're moved by love and justice and fairness and rightness, right? They take those types of actions. They're looking to take actions for the greater good, the most benevolent routes possible. They're leaders to be admired in their action. Divine feminine is intuitive and nurturing, compassionate, right? Soothing, patient, right? Those are the things that we haven't had a lot of. And those are the things that, you know, we're first guided to figure out how to give it to ourselves in a creative way. Okay, because we're not going to turn these environments. We're not going to change these environments, you guys. I think the change is that we've triggered people and it stirs up madness. And this is what provokes a lot of the attacks. Because it's like cutting on the lights in the club, you know, cutting on those fluorescent lights inside of a club. In the club, you have all these dim lights. You have like what you're looking at, the dim lights, the candle lights. You have the seductive music going on. You have the, you know what I'm saying, the crowded atmosphere and the secluded rooms. And so you have all of this shit happening in there that wouldn't otherwise be happening if the windows were open, if it was broad daylight, and if all of the fluorescent lights were on in every space of the building. All of a sudden, people would feel some kind of way. You have caught them giving blowjobs, getting blowjobs, having, you know, coitus. You then now see everybody in their true form because the harsh lights are on. So you see what people really look like. You see what people and there's going to be people that when that happens in that club, they're not going to be happy about it because they feel naked and exposed. Okay? They feel seen and caught, and they did not want to be seen, and they did not want to be caught. And, you know, that's what I feel like we deal with, because it's not that we're going around doing it. It's just the nature of our frequency. So we're not about to change environments to have people all of a sudden become loving, nurturing, understanding, support. No, we have to foster that and create it for ourselves. Keep a distance as much as we can, to the extent in which we can, because we have to interact in this world. But to the extent in which we can, when we know people are vibing some nasty stuff, okay? And pour it into ourselves until we co-create the kind of people that's going to be reflecting the energies that we bring, right? So give yourselves a break out there, those of y'all that's on this healing journey, divine feminine, especially you, okay? The softer approach with your self-care, self-love, your healing stuff, okay? It may not be all big, pow, ping, boom, but sometimes it's equally potent and powerful because it's allowing you what you have lacked to be able to rest with ease and grace, to not have to be in hyper vigilant mode, to not have to be feeling like you got to stay in hyper, ready to kick ass mode all the time because of every attack that's constantly coming to you and your kids. And yes, we still do go there, but equally important for us to take those moments that we do get to be able to soothe, because yeah, it is constant, but this is changing. The more we heal and evolve and we're getting through some of this stuff and putting some of this stuff to rest, I promise you, a few things are going to start to continue to happen. More people going to die off. I hate to say it, but that's kind of how it's going to be, because there's just people who they're not getting the memo. And so it's going to be like a list. That's all it is. And so there's going to be more of that continues. People will continue to fall off. Some is going to be just simply removed and not able to affect your energy. Others are going to die physically. It is what it is. Okay, people playing God, and with these big old heads and swole egos, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So like even now, it's like there's energies that are upset that I'm aligning with this, and that I have the capability to assist my son or to deal with, these energies and so forth, because I'm shocking quite a few people. I'm supposed to be dead, possibly my son. We was, a lot of things by now, and it's just not going to happen. The audacity of, I kind of chuckle a little bit and laugh at the audacity of all of these motherfuckers who actually thought that this shit was gonna work. That they thought that they're, trying to poison me and my son, and, putting shit on the door, and, sending their nasty energies, sitting up there doing spells to the wee night hour, you know what I'm saying, with their weird friends. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm shocked that they actually thought that this was going to work. There are people that are mad at me. See, a part of the nasty energy I feel is, I'm going to tell you a secret that some may think that I don't know, but I'm going to tell you. There are people that are in my son's immediate environment, this space, this environment, this land. Listen. They're in this environment one way or the other, whether it is they live here, visit here, or work here. Okay? They're mad at me. Now, I'm trying to get y'all to follow where I'm going. Because, first and foremost, they were off in their energy with me from the beginning. They were wrong. Their motives, their intentions, their plots, their schemes from the beginning. Number 2, as time proceeded, they proceeded to amp up different strategies to try to cause problems for me and my son. They collab with people that are not well to attempt to cause stagnation, blockages, and harm to my son and me. Let's fast forward. People start to die. And there are some people who say it's just life and happenstance because everybody's going to leave here at some point. Sure. Correct. But sometimes there's more to it than that. See, when you start fucking with the black widows, that's kind of a byproduct. And some of these people actually started partnering up with the black widows in my bloodline. And as a result, death surrounds them. You make a deal with the devil, people start dying off. Now, there are some people who I hate to say this, they knew full well what they were doing, and they just wanted power and clout and money, and they too were willing to sacrifice their own mother in some cases. Okay? In other cases, they may not have meant to, but the fact that they started partnering up with the devil and to do some harmful things to my son and me comes with a penalty. There's more than one person who suffered that. And that's meant, unfortunately for these people, they don't connect the dots. It's meant to show them what they're playing with. It's meant to show them that this will eventually get to them. And it's going to eventually start hitting places and things that actually matters. It'll start one place, but then it'll eventually, it's like, okay, you ain't feeling no kind of way right now. Okay, wait for it, because until you get off of this path and understand that you're in violation and that something is wrong with you, this is going to increase. And there are people that's mad at me right now because first and foremost, the plan did not work, but then they started suffering. And then these people want to get into this energy. Now they want to go to church and sing some song. Now they want to wave some sage bundles, and now they want to do. And listen to me, y'all. I'm sorry, but I find that fascinating. I wouldn't think anything of it if these people were really changing, holding themselves accountable, turning over their ways, like really truly being different and growing. Now that's different, but that's not what's happening. It's trying to get out of karma. It's, this energy of, I did all of this and I'm doing all of this. And instead of me connecting the dots, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, they're sending me the bad spells. You're sending you the bad spells. And the reason why you're sending you the bad spells is because you continue. You are not accountable to your actions. You are not evolving and healing. And you continue to try to cause harm. So no wavy bundle thingy. You can go to all of the Reiki sessions. You can do all of those things, all you wish. You can go to church all the Sundays. You're not changing. You're not a changed person. You're not seeing that you need to grow and evolve and be different. You're not addressing the issues that got you there to start with, that caused you to create the shit show in people's lives that you created. You are still wishing those people harm. You are still hoping that one of those things work for you. So the reason it's happening, it's not woo, it's you. Lying and denying what you did, pretending like that didn't happen, then crying behind the closed doors. Then still conspiring, still hiring. If one practitioner won't do it, looking for another. If they don't do it, looking for a way you can do it yourself. If that still running your mouth, still lying and trying to steer people's mind in the wrong direction. That's why. So it's going to be no protection circle or bracelet or amulet that is going to stop what must happen. This is what's going over humans' heads and been going over humans' heads. So you feel you can be a fucked up individual as a standard of life. And you think that all you need to do is go and run to some altar, call some prayer line, go get a bundle of sage and incense, get a floor wash, rearrange the furniture, to chase away the bad juju. The bad juju is you. Failing to heal. Failing to evolve. Failing to become accountable and to see yourself in true light. To see your actions and behaviors and own them. And then to cease being those people. And understanding that, like everything else, it's not a quick, I'm sorry, please make this go away. That's not accountability. That's never worked for humans. That only fosters this sense of I'm invincible and I can do this as long as I just say I'm sorry. And then they'll make the bad things go away. I won't have to experience the bad things. No, asking for the strength you need to heal and grow through the challenge and the difficulties of what you created, especially what you created for other people. Many folks out there were merciless towards innocent lives and collectives for years. And they suffered for years unjustly by the hand of ignorance. Arrogance, greed, insecurity. And that suffrage is not in vain. There was no quick, fast, and easy nothing for them. And it's not going to be for you. The test is to live and be good people and make better decisions and choices through the difficulties. That's been everybody's test, everybody's challenge. But the more we operate and sit our asses on social media and anywhere else exuding nasty energy, the more nasty energies we shall receive. The more we are projecting out of our egos and anger towards other people's children. Yes, I have to say that because that is the nature of what must be. We don't get to safe and secure ourselves while causing harm to others unnecessarily out of sheer ego. Even still, like what I can sense now, it's sad for them. But I do not feel sorry in a sense of, oh, no, I feel like, yeah, well, they're making their bed every day. Just like I get up and choose, and other ones getting up and choosing to heal. Everybody can. So, as far as I'm concerned, what people get, especially those who've been a part of doing some really super nasty shit to my son, and man, where I'm at with this is like, well, that's justice. You don't steal other people's lives. You don't block other people's lives. You don't sit there and wish them a difficult life and think your ass is going to have a smooth and easy life for the rest of your life. Your seasons of that will be short-lived and followed by pain agony and all of the destruction you caused. And it's as simple as that.